This is the Dive Into Discovery podcast, where curiosity meets insight, and every conversation uncovers a new layer of understanding.
Ever get that feeling? Like you hear something and you just can't explain it. A weird sound that just makes you wonder if there's something more out there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
That's kind of the vibe we're going for today as we
Yeah.
take a deep dive into the Taos Hum.
Ooh, okay.
So imagine this. You're in Taos, New Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
It's nighttime. Everything's quiet. And there's this persistent, low-frequency hum just kind of hanging in the air.
Like a low rumble almost.
Yeah, exactly. Like a distant diesel engine just idling, you know?
And what makes it even weirder is that no one can figure out where it's coming from.
I mean, they've done studies. Even Congress got involved back in the 90s.
Right.
But still, the source of the Taos Hum remains a total mystery.
A mystery that's lasted for decades, actually.
It's like a real-life X-Files episode happening in a small town.
Exactly. And there are so many layers to it, like when did it actually start?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
You know, reports of the hum really blew up in the early 1990s.
Right.
But some folks in Taos say they were hearing this thing years before that.
Oh, wow. So was it always there, like a subtle background noise that people just didn't notice?
Maybe, or maybe something changed. Something that made it more noticeable, you know.
Okay, so that's weird already. But it gets even stranger, right?
Definitely.
It's not like the whole town's hearing this hum. It's only a tiny percentage of the people in Taos.
Mhm.
Like 2%.
Yeah, a really small number of people.
So what's going on there? Are they just more sensitive to sound or something?
That's one of the big questions researchers have been trying to answer, and that's led to a whole bunch of different explanations. Some make more sense than others, I guess.
Okay, well, let's break it down then.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the leading theories about what could be causing this?
Well, you got to start with the obvious, right?
Okay, sure.
Is it just industrial noise?
Toast does have some industry, doesn't it?
It does. And you know those low-frequency sounds?
Mm.
They can travel really far, so maybe it's something like that, just a constant drone of machinery or something?
That seems logical, but I guess if it were that simple, they would have figured it out by now, right?
You would think so, yeah, but there's been a lot of research, and they haven't found a direct link to any specific industrial source.
So that's a dead end then.
Not necessarily a dead end, just, you know, we need to keep looking.
Okay, so if it's not factories or power lines or whatever, what about something coming from the Earth itself?
Yeah, the geological theory.
Yeah. Taos is in a pretty geologically active zone, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's part of the Rio Grande Rift.
So maybe the hum is actually some kind of subtle Earth movement or seismic activity.
It's a possibility. Some geologists have even looked into whether things like underground water pipes or gas lines could be vibrating in a way that causes the hum.
Interesting. But again, nothing conclusive.
Not yet, no.
So we've got industrial noise, we've got geological activity, and I guess the other big question is, well, is it all in people's heads?
Ah, yes, the psychological angle.
Yeah. Could the Taos hum be some kind of mass psychogenic illness?
Some researchers have definitely explored that possibility.
So like a shared anxiety or belief within the community that manifests as this physical sensation of hearing a humming sound.
Right. It's kind of a controversial theory, though.
I can imagine.
I mean, imagine you're hearing this thing, it's real to you, it's bothering you, and then someone's like, oh, it's all in your head.
Yeah, that wouldn't go over well.
Not at all. And it's important to acknowledge that the hum does have a real impact on people's lives, regardless of whether it's a psychological phenomenon or something else entirely.
Absolutely. We need to approach this with empathy and an open mind, for sure. Okay, so we've got industrial noise, geological activity, and the complexities of human perception. What else is on the table here?
Well, this is where things start to get a little bit more, how do I put this?
Mysterious.
Yeah, mysterious, bit more intriguing, maybe. There's one theory that really captures people's imaginations.
Okay, I'm all ears.
It's the idea that the Taos hum could be linked to, wait for it, military activities.
Oh, here we go. Now we're talking. Government secrets, covert ops, that kind of stuff.
Not necessarily. But it's true that militaries around the world do experiment with some pretty advanced technologies.
Including stuff involving sound waves.
Exactly. And some people believe that the hum could be a side effect of those experiments.
Like some kind of top secret sonic weapon or something?
Maybe not a weapon in the traditional sense, but the theory is that the hum could be a byproduct of military tests involving low-frequency sound waves. Maybe for communication, surveillance, who knows?
Okay, that's definitely got some conspiracy theory vibes going on, especially with the government's tendency to keep things under wraps.
For sure. And the fact that no one's been able to definitively debunk the hum, well, let's just say it doesn't exactly put those conspiracy theories to rest.
So a lot of speculation, but not a lot of hard evidence.
Pretty much. But even if the military isn't directly involved, it does raise the question of whether there could be other advanced technologies out there that we just don't understand yet.
That's a trippy thought. So we've gone from factories to the Earth itself, and now we're venturing into the world of cutting-edge tech and government secrets.
And we're just getting started. Next time, we'll take a closer look at the human element of the Taos Hum and how our own perceptions and experiences might be shaping this enduring mystery. So last time we were talking about some of the possible causes of the Taos Hum.
Right, like industrial noise and geological activity,
Exactly.
and even some more out there theories like military experiments.
Yeah, it's wild stuff. But for this part, I'm kind of curious to dig deeper into the human side of this whole thing.
Okay, so less about what's making the sound and more about how people are actually experiencing it.
Exactly. You know how we talked about how the hum seems to sound different to different people?
Yeah, some hear it as low rumble, others say it's like a diesel engine in the distance.
Yeah.
And it seems like the intensity and frequency can change too.
That's one of the biggest challenges when it comes to studying this phenomenon.
Yeah. How do you pin down something that everyone seems to perceive a little differently?
Right. It's almost like it's tailored to each individual's perception, which is really quite remarkable when you think about it.
So is there any way to explain why some people are more sensitive to the hum than others? Like, is it just about having better hearing in general?
Well, research suggests that age and hearing range might be factors. You see, the hum's frequency is usually somewhere between 30 and 80 hertz,
Good.
which is pretty low, on the edge of what humans can even hear.
Right.
So younger people, or those who are more sensitive to sounds in that specific range, they might be more likely to pick it up.
That makes sense, I guess. But there are still people in the same area, maybe even living in the same house, where one person hears the hum loud and clear and the other doesn't hear a thing. What's up with that?
Now, that is a head scratcher. It really makes you wonder if there's something else going on, something beyond just general hearing ability.
Like what?
Well, some researchers have this theory that maybe some people have a kind of auditory hypersensitivity.
Like a superpower.
Haha, sort of, but specifically for low-frequency sounds.
So it's not about having superhuman hearing, but rather being super sensitive to certain frequencies.
Precisely. Think of it like seeing colors that other people can't.
Oh, I get it.
It's not that their vision is necessarily better, they just perceive a different spectrum of light.
Cool analogy. But this idea that the hum might be tied to how our brains perceive sound, does that mean it's not really a real external phenomenon? Like, could it be completely subjective?
That's a tough one. It's tricky because while individual differences in hearing clearly play a role, there are also some pretty interesting hints that external factors might be influencing things too.
Ooh, okay, give me an example.
Well, some people who hear the hum say it gets louder when it rains heavily or when the sky is overcast.
Interesting. So maybe weather conditions somehow affect either how the hum is generated or how we perceive it.
Yeah, it's a possibility. And here's another piece of the puzzle. There's no evidence that animals are bothered by the hum.
Really? But animals, like dogs, have way better hearing than us, right there. I figured they'd be going crazy if there was this low-frequency sound we could barely hear.
Exactly. And that's what makes it even more fascinating. If animals aren't reacting, it suggests that maybe the hum isn't a normal sound wave after all.
What else could it be then?
Well, some people think it could be a type of vibration or energy that we're only just starting to understand, something that interacts with human perception in a way that we haven't figured out yet.
That's pretty mind-blowing. It's like we're missing a piece of the puzzle when it comes to how we experience reality.
Maybe we are. And this is where the Taos Hum goes beyond just being a local thing. It makes you think about all the things we might not know about the world, all the things we might not be able to perceive with our current senses.
It's kind of humbling, you know?
Definitely. So we've got individual perceptions, maybe some weather influences, and the mystery of why animals don't seem to hear it at all. What else have you got?
Well, I remember reading somewhere that similar humming sounds have been reported in other parts of the world too, not just Taos.
You're right. The UK, Canada, even Australia. It seems the Taos Hum isn't quite so unique after all.
So could it be a global phenomenon? That's a huge leap from one little town in New Mexico.
It is a big leap, but it does make you wonder, doesn't it? Are all these cases connected somehow? Could there be something happening on a larger scale that we just haven't grasped yet? The possibilities are, they're endless, really.
We've gone from the hum of machinery to the Earth itself, from human perception to secret government projects, and now we're talking about a global phenomenon. It's like we're peeling back layers of reality with every new piece of information.
I know, right? And to add even more to the mix, we haven't even touched upon the Taos Hum's impact on popular culture yet.
Oh yeah, there's got to be some wild theories out there, right? Aliens, government conspiracies, that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. The Taos Hum has inspired countless theories, some more grounded in reality than others. It's a mystery that just begs for creative interpretation.
So where do we go from here? What are some of the more, shall we say, imaginative explanations that people have come up with?
Well, we have to start with the classics. Aliens.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Had to be aliens, right?
Well, it wouldn't be a true unexplained phenomenon without an alien theory, would it?
So what's the story? Are they beaming the hum down from their spaceships?
Some people think it could be coming from some kind of hidden underground base, maybe even an alien city beneath Taos.
Wow, that's a pretty elaborate setup just to create a humming sound. What other explanations have people come up with?
Let's see. Secret government experiments, of course.
Classic.
Maybe they're testing out some new kind of technology, some kind of energy source that's causing the hum as a side effect.
Right, right. And I bet some folks think there are portals to other dimensions involved somehow, too.
Oh, absolutely. Portals, wormholes, alternate realities. The Taos Hum seems to tap into that part of our imagination that loves the idea of the impossible.
It's amazing how a simple sound can become this blank canvas for people's hopes and fears about the unknown.
It really is. The hum becomes a mirror, reflecting back our own anxieties and fascinations about the world around us.
It's like a Rorschach test for the collective unconscious.
Ha ha, I like that. So, after all this digging, where do we stand? What can we actually say we know about the Taos Hum?
Well, I think it's safe to say it's still a mystery, right? Even after all the research and investigation, we still don't have a definitive answer.
Yeah, the Taos Hum stubbornly refuses to give up its secrets. But you know what? I think the journey of trying to understand it has been pretty valuable in its own right.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we've explored so many different avenues, from the hard science to the psychology of perception, and even delved into the realm of conspiracy theories and pop culture.
It really shows how a single phenomenon can connect to so many different aspects of human knowledge and experience.
And honestly, it's kind of refreshing to know that there are still things out there that we can't easily explain.
It keeps us humble, right? Reminds us that there's still so much we don't know about the world. And that's okay. Sometimes the not knowing is more exciting than having all the answers.
So maybe the real lesson of the Taos Hum is that it's okay to embrace the mystery.
Exactly. To stay curious, to keep asking questions, and to be open to the possibility that there are things in this universe that might always remain just beyond our grasp.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up our deep dive into the world of the Taos Hum. Listeners, we've thrown a lot of information at you, some scientific, some speculative, and maybe even a little bit fantastical. But ultimately, it's up to you to decide what you make of it all.
Do your own research, explore the different theories, and maybe even take a trip to Taos and listen for yourself.
Who knows? You might just have an experience that changes how you view the world around you. And until next time, keep those minds open and keep exploring.
What did you think of this week's episode? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to join us next time as we dive even deeper. And as always, stay curious, because you never know what discoveries are just around the corner.